Okay, welcome to this edition of the Barefoot Lawyer Reports. I'm William Saunders. I'm the director of the Center for Human Rights at the Catholic University of America. And as always, I'm here with our distinguished fellow, Chen Guangcheng, to discuss issues of human rights related to China and the activities of the Chinese Communist Party. Today's broadcast is a little bit different than usual because there have been several important events that happened within a week, which we want to touch on to kind of paint a picture of where human rights and China stand here in the United States. The first event was the graduation of the Catholic University of America, which was on May 14th, and the graduation ceremonies included 6 honorary degrees, one of which went to Jimmy Lai. And Jimmy Lai, for those of you who don't know him, is a rather amazing person who rose up in Hong Kong from being a child laborer all the way to being the publisher of a great media empire, which included a newspaper that was published in Chinese and then later also in English called Apple Daily. And he was a very fierce opponent of the CCP's efforts to restrict democracy and human rights in China, because the Chinese Communist Party is bound under international law by a treaty that they signed with Great Britain to give civil and political rights to the Hong Kong people for 50 years. But as the Chinese Communist Party always do, they violated their legal obligations and started to repress freedom in Hong Kong. And therefore there were all the students protesting on the streets. And I would invite you to go to our webpage to see a video we have where Guangcheng talked about human rights in Hong Kong a couple of years ago. But in the interim period, the Chinese Communist Party has cracked down on democracy, and one of the casualties was Jimmy Lai. Now, what makes Jimmy Lai amazing is he could have escaped Hong Kong before he was arrested. He had many opportunities to do so. But he's a very serious and devout Catholic, and he saw that his destiny, as he said, was to follow what the Lord wanted him to do, which was to give witness to the truth in Hong Kong. So he was arrested, he was put in jail, and I'm going to ask Guangcheng now to tell us what he knows about Jimmy Lai and what the situation is with Jimmy Lai at the present. So Guangcheng, tell us about your relationship with Jimmy Lai and what has happened to him.
Okay. I think Jimmy Lai is a very good person. He did a lot of human rights job in Hong Kong. Even he used his organizations, the TV or the newspaper, to talk the truth, to expose the persecuted in mainland China and Hong Kong. So this is why the Communist Party tried to prosecute him. Yeah. So, and in fact, before when the 1997, after 1997, the Communist Party tried to use the money to buy all the media companies to become the mouthpiece. Mm-hmm. But Jimmy Lai's medias refused to do that. Mm-hmm. The Communist Party tried a lot of times to do that. So he always refused to do that. So the Communist Party very angry about this. Mm-hmm. So when the Communist Party made the evil law 3 years ago and tried to take over Hong Kong, they tried to find a way to punish him and to prosecute him now and put him in jail. And, he is very old, more than 80s. In Chinese law, if more than 80s, usually should be not put in the,
not put in jail.
Yeah, not put in jail. Usually will give some opportunity. But, for the political cases in mainland China or in anywhere about the Communist Party, they will use that to punish the activists. They will not give them any space. Usually if the Communist Party tries to punish some normal people in the prison, after half they will have an opportunity to apply to released. But for the political person, no one gets that.
Okay, so tell us, so he had a trial in Hong Kong, right?
Yes.
And what's his sentence?
Yeah, the Communist Party said he tried to destroy the communist system. That is the name. Of course, that is evil law. Evil law, not law. Just serve for the Communist Party. Just help the Communist Party control the power of that law. So that is, in fact, that is illegal, I think. No one believes that is the normal law.
Yeah, that's the law of 3 years ago you're talking about.
Yes.
In 1997 is when the Chinese Communist Party signed the agreement with Britain. So that's why they were trying to get all the media to tell their story after that.
Yes. In fact, a lot of media become the mouthpiece now in Hong Kong. So even in mainland China, a lot of activists, before if some media give me a call when I was in mainland China, tried to interview me, if I heard their voice is Hong Kong, yes, I agree to do the interview, right? Should be, you don't worry the journalists work for the Communist Party. But now, in mainland China, some activists, if they call them to do the interview, they have to ask, you come from which media? If they know that media become like Fenghua Weishi, become the Communist Party's mouthpiece, they will refuse to do the interview. So now we have to know this situation change. If some media come from Hong Kong, don't believe that is individual media. Maybe that just the Communist Party's mouthpiece.
Yeah.
So we should be careful.
So how many years did they sentence Jimmy Lai? Was it 13 years? How many years did they sentence him, the communist, for prison?
Before they said 3 years, but now I don't know. Later the Communist Party tried to give him more sentence. Yeah, no. In fact, that is no. I think even 1 day is wrong. Yeah. So of course, the Communist Party, if they tried to give him more sentences, they can do that. Even when I was in prison, the Communist Party used some people to transfer some message to me. If you keep against the Communist Party, they will try to find a way to let you stay in prison more. That is the threat. Yes. So don't believe the law of the Communist Party.
Well, I don't, because they didn't respect the law with Great Britain. So and they don't respect international law. Yeah,
like you said, if Jimmy Lai tried to escape Hong Kong, he had a lot of opportunity, but he didn't do that. I think if he escaped, and maybe he can do more human rights work in the whole world, right? But now if let the Communist Party put him in jail or prison, we can't do that.
Well, we have to try to get him out.
Yes. If we have opportunity, we should keep the free to do the human rights work.
Yeah. So Jimmy Lai, they published after he was arrested, I think, they published the last issue of Apple Daily, and you have some of the copies of that, don't you?
Yes. My friend sent a lot that to me the final version. I put it in my office or even in my office in my home. So, that I think that is very, very important. Yeah, in fact, in Hong Kong, a lot of people come in the raining to go to get the
last issue.
Yeah, the last issue. So that means a lot of people support that. A lot of people know Jimmy Lai's media is a good media. So I think the Communist Party will not successful in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
So now we should find a way to help him. And even the Communist Party not stop. They keep prosecute another activist in Hong Kong, another person. Her name is Zhou Xingtong. She is a good activist in Hong Kong before did a lot of job like with Jimmy Lai and with another human rights organization. Now the Communist Party tried to put her in prison 10 years.
Yeah.
So bad, yeah. The Communist Party evil.
So Jimmy Lai got an honorary degree from Catholic University, and what has happened to him demonstrates for people listening. We've talked about in previous broadcasts how human rights are denied in China. We've talked about the denial of religious liberty and other things, and this is an example of a denial of the fundamental human right to freedom of speech and freedom of press. Now, nonetheless, people in America know about Jimmy Lai. The National Catholic Prayer Breakfast gave him its special award last year for outstanding Catholic layperson in the whole world, and Catholic University recognized him. Now, a few days later, the Bradley Foundation met in Washington, D.C., and presented its annual award to 3 people. 2 of them are Wilford McClay and Glenn Lowry, who are 2 outstanding intellectuals in America. And then the 3rd award went to somebody we know named Chen Guangcheng. And Guangcheng, why don't you tell us what you thought about when you learned you received the Bradley Award?
Yes, of course, that is a very big and good and gift for me, because this year is my 10 years celebration anniversary. We came to the U.S. So that is a very, very good news. And another thing is, I think the Bradley Foundation's the prize is very important for the Western country, not just in the U.S., right? Yeah, and 10 years have passed. I never stopped to do the human rights work for Chinese people and for the whole world. So that prize is how to say, means
recognition.
Yeah. So I think I'm so happy on that. I think I will try to join hands with another people, more and more people in the U.S. to stand up to protect our freedom, democracy, human rights, the rule of law in the U.S., and try to give to help the people who live under the authoritarian regime to create the rule of law, the democratic political system. Yeah, I think that is very, very important. I hope more and more people try to contact us so we can work together to do that important thing and the right thing.
I mean, that's what we're trying to do through the center. We end with these podcasts, which we hope people will send to other people so they can learn that you speak English, because we want people in America to hear what you have to say. One thing I wanted to mention for people listening is in your remarks after you got the award, you mentioned that the award was recognition and validation of your efforts, and that it showed that people were paying attention to the human rights abuses in China, and that was a very important thing. So, and then the third thing you mentioned a minute ago, which was the next day after you received the Bradley Prize, we had a party here at Catholic University to celebrate your 10 years in America.
Yes, yes. A lot of people, the journalists, the netizens, and the political people, and the human rights organizations, and all the people concerned about my case since 17 years ago. So after 7 years, the prosecuted, I escaped and come to American Embassy in Beijing, and then after the negotiation, I came here with my family. So I thank you, my old friend, about this, to help me, to concern about this. And after we came here, a lot of people help us to live there, to learn English and to do something here. Now, I think, since the price of Bradley, I think the important people in the U.S., I think they are validated my job about my work, human rights work, to pushing human rights, universal values, democracy, like that. So I hope, of course, I saw a lot of different laws in here. We should have to do more to protect the
freedom here in America.
Yes, freedom here in
freedom
America.
of speech, freedom of press.
Yeah, stop the censorship on the
Yeah.
internet. That is important. Yeah.
That's one thing you mentioned in your talk,
Yes.
was that we need to use the antitrust laws to break up
If you're
some of these
interested,
big companies.
Yes. If you're interested about this, please go to the Bradley website, or come to our center's website. We have the link to watch the video to understand what we talk.
Yeah, so the web page for our center is catholic.edu/CHR for Center for Human Rights. So it's catholic.edu/CHR. And people will come there, can find links to your Bradley talk, and photographs and video and audio from your party, and we invite people to do that. So to kind of sum this up for the listener, in about a 5-day period, we had the honorary degree to Jimmy Lai from the Catholic University of America, based on his human rights work and his fight for freedom of speech. 2 or 3 days later, Chen Guangcheng gets the Bradley Prize, which is one of the most prestigious prizes that awarded in the United States for his human rights work and advocacy for democracy and the rule of law. And then the next day, we have a party celebrating 10 years of Guangcheng being in America, which says, number one, America remains the beacon of hope for people around the world who are denied human rights. And it, I think, shows that in this 10-year period, you've been preparing yourself, Guangcheng, to be a voice not only in Chinese, and people all around the world hear you in Chinese, but also to hear you in English.
Yes, that is very good. I hope, if in the future we tried to get Jimmy Lai free, and we will use a different way to ask the party released him. And if he came here, if he he is free, we will invite him to come here to talk with you, and let him talk more how the Communist Party used the evil law to take over Hong Kong in the future.
Yeah.
So let's keep talking about this. Please pay attention about our podcast.
Yes, and you know the story in the end, to end this this Barefoot Lawyer Report, is this is actually a very positive 5 days, because two Chinese human rights advocates were recognized in their work against the CCP and for democracy and human rights. And then we celebrate that America still is a home, land of the free and home of the brave, and welcomes people who want to fight for human rights. And then it also recognizes Catholic University as a great place that provides a home for Guangcheng to refine his voice so that he can share his insights with the American people. So again, I invite you, if you heard this podcast, to make sure you share it, make sure you go to the web page and see the photographs and let your friends know about it. And we'll be back with you soon.